How are you guys doing? Today is Thursday, February 10th, 2022. I'm James Sims, and for this episode of The Elite, I'm going to review yesterday's Elite matchups and performances from Wednesday, February 9th, 2022. Before I get into what's going on today, taking a quick look at where we are in the calendar year, we are in the second half of the basketball seasons, college and professional. The NFL is down to its last game as the Super Bowl is going to be on Sunday at 6:30. Not to mention that we're also in the second half of most soccer schedules because we are in the 2022 year. And of course, we are through yet another day of the Olympics as, of course, teams and countries are starting to rack up medals. First, taking a look at what's going on with college basketball, looking at the games from yesterday, looking at the teams ranked in the top 25. Starting with the sixth ranked team in the nation, the Houston Cougars would go to Dallas, Texas to face off against the unranked SMU Mustangs. SMU would beat Houston 85-83. They won this matchup by 2 after outscoring Houston by 13 in the second half. On the losing end of this matchup, the sixth ranked Houston Cougars were led in scoring by their two guards. Kyler Edwards out of Arlington, Texas would go on to finish with 17 points in 29 minutes. He shot 5 for 9 from the field. Or shot 5 for 10 from the field. Their other starting guard, Taze Moore, out of Mississippi, would go on to finish with 17 points, 3 rebounds, and 3 steals and 2 blocks in 40 minutes. He shot 7 for 15 from the field, and he shot 3 for 5 from 3. On the winning end of this matchup, the unranked Mustangs were led in scoring by their starting guard, Kendrick Davis. Their guard out of Houston would finish with 22 points, 7 rebounds, 7 assists, and 3 steals in 39 minutes. He shot 6 for 11 from the field, 2 for 5 from 3, and 8 for 9 from the foul line. Their starting forward, Marcus Weathers, out of Kansas, would go on to finish with 20 points for himself. He added 7 rebounds and 5 assists in 35 minutes. He shot 6 for 16 from the field, 3 for 6 from 3, and 5 for 7 from the foul line. On the winning end of this matchup, unranked SMU is 17-5. They are 8-2 in the American Conference. They have the second best record. They sit 1 game behind the 6th ranked Houston Cougars. With this loss, the Houston Cougars are now 20-3. This is their first American Conference loss. They are officially 9-1, still holding the best record in the conference despite this loss. Taking a look now at what went down with the 9th-ranked team in the nation, the Texas Tech Red Raiders went to Norman to face off against unranked Oklahoma. And yet another top 10 team was upset by an unranked team as Oklahoma beat Texas Tech 70-55. The Sooners won this matchup by 15 after outscoring Texas Tech by 20 in the second half. On the losing end of this matchup, the 9th-ranked Texas Tech Red Raiders were led in scoring by their starting guard, Kevin McCullough. He will go on to finish with 12 points and 2 steals in 35 minutes. He shot 4 for 11 from the field and a perfect 4 for 4 from the foul line. On the winning end of this matchup, the unranked Oklahoma Sooners were led in scoring by Umoja Gibson. Their senior out of Waco, Texas, finished with 30 points and 5 rebounds in 36 minutes. He would go on to shoot 9 for 14 from the field, 8 for 11 from 3, and 4 for 5 from the foul line. With this win, Oklahoma is now 14-10. They are now 4-7, tied with Oklahoma State and Kansas State for the 3rd worst record in the Big 12. With this loss, the 9th-ranked Texas Tech Red Raiders are 18-6. They are 7-4 in the conference, tied with Texas for the 2nd-best record in the Big 12 so far. Taking a look now at what happened to the 10th-ranked team in the nation, the defending champ Baylor Bears were the top-ranked team to win a game yesterday as they went to Kansas State, and they beat unranked Kansas State 75-60. Baylor won this matchup by 15 after outscoring Kansas State by 15 in the second half. On the winning end of this matchup, the 10th-ranked Bears were led in scoring by their forward off the bench, Jonathan Chachwoa. He would go on to finish with 21 points and 6 rebounds as Baylor would go on to pick up this win. With this win, the 10th-ranked defending champs Baylor Bears are 20-4. They are 8-3 in the Big 12. They have the 2nd-best record in the Big 12 right behind Kansas. With this loss, the unranked Kansas State Wildcats are 12-11. They are 4-7 in the Big 12, tied with Oklahoma and Oklahoma State for the 3rd worst record in the Big 12 so far. Now, jumping to see what happened to the 16th ranked team in the nation, the Ohio State Buckeyes would face off against Rutgers in New Jersey. Rutgers would end up beating Ohio State, upsetting the 16th ranked team of the nation. Rutgers won this matchup 66-14 after outscoring Ohio State by 1 in both halves. On the losing end of this matchup, the 16th ranked Buckeyes were led in scoring by their starting guard, Malachi Branham, out of Columbus, Ohio. He would go on to finish with 19 points in 36 minutes. He shot 7 for 13 from the field, 4 for 5 from 3, and he made one of his 2 free throw attempts. On the winning end of this matchup, the unranked Rutgers Scarlet Knights were led in scoring by Geo Baker, their senior out of New Hampshire. Geo Baker would finish with 25 points and 6 assists in 38 minutes. He shot 9 for 14 from the field, 3 for 7 from 3, and a perfect 4 for 4 from the foul line. With this win, unranked Rutgers is 14-9 as they are 8-5 in the Big Ten. And with this loss, the 16th ranked Ohio State Buckeyes are 14-6. They are 7-4 in the Big Ten. At the moment, they have the 5th best record in the conference so far. Taking a look now at what happened to the 19th ranked team in the nation, the Tennessee Volunteers would go to Mississippi, face off against the unranked Mississippi State Bulldogs. Tennessee would beat Mississippi State by 9 after they outscored Mississippi State by 7 in the first half. On the losing end, or I guess on the winning end of this matchup, the 19th ranked Volunteers were led in scoring by their 2 starting guards. Kennedy Chandler out of Memphis, Tennessee, will go on to finish with 18 points, 5 rebounds, and 5 steals in 34 minutes. He shot 8 for 13 from the field and 1 for 2 from the foul line. Josiah Jordan James will go on to finish with 18 points as well in 38 minutes. He shot 7 for 12 from the field, 3 for 6 from 3, and he made his only free throw attempt on the night. With this win, the 19th ranked Tennessee Volunteers are 17-6. They are 8-3 in the SEC. That is the 3rd best record in the conference. They are tied with Arkansas. With this loss, the unranked Mississippi State Bulldogs are now 14-9. They are 5-5 in the SEC so far. Last but not least, looking at the 25th ranked team in the nation, the Xavier Musketeers would end up getting upset by the unranked Seton Hall Pirates. They were the 4th out of 6 ranked team that played yesterday that ended up losing to an unranked opponent. Seton Hall will win this matchup by 2 after they outscored Xavier in the first half by 10. On the losing end of this matchup, the 25th ranked Xavier Musketeers were led in scoring by their starting forward, Jack Nunge, out of Indiana. He would go on to finish with 22 points and 5 rebounds in 35 minutes. He shot 9 for 12 from the field, 3 for 5 from 3 as well. Xavier starting guard Paul Scruggs out of Indianapolis would finish with 21 points, 7 rebounds, 7 assists, 3 steals, and 5 turnovers in 33 minutes. He shot 6 for 10 from the field. He made 1 of his 2 3-pointers, and he made all 8 of his free throws. On the winning end of this matchup, the unranked Seton Hall Pirates were led in scoring by their starting guard Jared Rhoden. He would go on to finish with 25 points and 8 rebounds in 37 minutes. He shot 8 for 18 from the field, 5 for 8 from 3, and he would go on to shoot 4 for 7 from the foul line. With this win, the unranked Seton Hall Pirates are 15-7. They are 6-6 in the Big East. With this loss, the 25th ranked Xavier Musketeers are now 16-7. They are also 6-6 in the Big East. These 2 teams are currently tied for the 6th best record in Big East Conference play at the moment. So those are the ranked opponents or the ranked matchups that took place from yesterday, as a good amount of them are going to be moving down the list. Taking a look at what's going on today, starting off at 8 o'clock on ACC Network, my alma mater, the 7th ranked Duke Blue Devils, are going to go to Little John Coliseum in Clemson to face off against the unranked Clemson Tigers. Duke enters this matchup with a 9-3 record in the ACC. At 8:30, the 23rd ranked Murray State Racers are going to go face off against Tennessee State in Tennessee. Murray State enters this matchup, of course, holding a 12-0 record in the Ohio Valley Conference. At 9 o'clock on CBS Sports Network, the 2nd ranked Gonzaga Bulldogs, who are still undefeated in the West Coast Conference, are going to host unranked Pacific in Spokane, Washington. At 9 o'clock on ESPN, the 3rd ranked Purdue Boilermakers are going to go to Michigan and face off against the unranked Wolverines. Purdue enters this matchup with a 10-3 record in the Big Ten. At the same time at 9, the unranked Washington State Wildcats are going to host the 4th ranked Arizona Wildcats on FS1. Arizona enters this matchup with a 10-1 record in the Pac-12. Last but not least, at 9 o'clock, the 22nd ranked St. Mary's Gaels are going to face off against unranked San Diego in Moraga, California. St. Mary's enters this matchup with a 7-2 record in the West Coast Conference. Taking a look at what's going on at the professional level, starting off with the NFL, the last game of the 2021-22 season will take place on Sunday at 6:30 on NBC as the 4th seed in the AFC Cincinnati Bengals are going to face off against the 4th seed in the NFC Los Angeles Rams. Coincidentally, is going to be taking place in SoFi as the Rams are going to be the second Super Bowl team in a row to play in their home stadium. It's a neutral site game. The first time it happened was when Tom Brady won with the Buccaneers. Now taking a look at what went down in the NBA from yesterday. Starting off in Cleveland, the Cavaliers hosted the San Antonio Spurs. The Cavaliers beat the Spurs 105-92. They won this matchup by 13 after outscoring San Antonio by 10 in the second quarter. On the losing end of this matchup, the San Antonio Spurs were led in scoring by their starting small forward Keldon Johnson and their shooting guard off the bench Devin Vassell. Johnson finished with 18 points and 7 rebounds in 33 minutes. He shot 7 for 21 from the field and made his only free throw. Devin Vassell finished with 18 points and 2 steals in 28 minutes. He shot 8 for 16 from the field. Their all-star starting point guard, DeJounte Murray, would finish with 16 points, 6 rebounds, and 9 assists in 34 minutes. He shot 7 for 17 from the field and a perfect 2 for 2 from the foul line. On the winning end of this matchup, the hometown Cleveland Cavaliers were led in scoring by Darius Garland. Garland finished with 27 points, 5 rebounds, 6 assists, and 6 turnovers in 34 minutes. Or he did all this in 30 minutes. He shot 12 for 15 from the field and a perfect 3 for 3 from 3. Their starting center, Jarrett Allen, would finish with 15 points and 14 rebounds in 32 minutes. He shot 7 for 11 from the field and made his only free throw. The Cavaliers' other starting center, their rookie starting center, Evan Mobley out of USC, finished with 18 points and 12 rebounds in 33 minutes. He shot 6 for 15 from the field and 6 for 7 from the foul line. With this win, the Cleveland Cavaliers are 34-21. That is currently the 4th best record in the Eastern, or tied with the Bulls for the 3rd best record in the Eastern Conference. The Cavaliers have won 7 of their last 10 games as they sit 1 full game behind the 1st seed Miami Heat out east. With this loss, the San Antonio Spurs are now 20-35. That is the 3rd worst record in the Western Conference. They've lost 7 of their last 10 games. They sit 6.5 games behind the 8th seed LA Clippers outside of the playoff picture out west. Jumping out to Charlotte, the Hornets hosted the Chicago Bulls. The Bulls beat the Hornets 121-109. They won this matchup by 12 after outscoring the Hornets by 14 points in the second quarter. On the losing end of this matchup, the hometown Charlotte Hornets were led in scoring by their elite starting point guard, last year's Rookie of the Year and first-time All-Star LaMelo Ball. Ball finished with 33 points, 9 rebounds, 5 assists, and 4 steals in 38 minutes. He shot 12 for 25 from the field, 5 for 10 from 3, and 4 for 6 from the foul line. Their starting small forward, Miles Bridges, finished with 22 points, 5 rebounds, and 5 assists in 39 minutes. He shot 7 for 16 from the field and a perfect 6 for 6 from the foul line. On the winning end of this matchup, the Chicago Bulls were led in scoring by their starting small forward, DeMar DeRozan. DeRozan finished with 36 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, and 5 turnovers. The Bulls all-star shot 13 for 19 from the field in 38 minutes. He shot 3 for 4 from 3, and he shot 7 for 10 from the foul line. Their starting shooting guard, Zach LaVine, finished with 27 points, 7 rebounds, and 5 assists in 40 minutes. LaVine shot 8 for 18 from the field, 5 for 10 from 3, and 6 for 7 from the foul line. The Bulls starting center, Nikola Vucevic, finished with 18 points, 15 rebounds, 8 assists, and 3 blocks in 38 minutes. He shot 9 for 13 from the field. With this win, the Chicago Bulls are now 34-21. They are tied with the Cleveland Cavaliers for the 3rd best record in the East. The Bulls have won 6 of their last 10 games as they sit a full game behind the Miami Heat out east. With this loss, the Charlotte Hornets are now 28-28. That is the 9th best record in the East. They've lost their last 6 games, which is the 2nd longest losing streak in the Eastern Conference. They've lost 8 of their last 10 games. They sit 2 games behind the 8th seed Brooklyn Nets outside of the playoff picture out east. Jumping to Oklahoma City, the Thunder hosted the Toronto Raptors from up north. The Raptors beat the Thunder 117-98. They won this matchup by 19 after they outscored the Thunder by 12 in the first quarter and then by 11 in the second half. On the losing end of this matchup, the hometown Oklahoma City Thunder were led in scoring by their center off the bench, Alexei Pukasevsky. He would go on to finish with 18 points and 4 steals as well as 2 blocks in 30 minutes. He shot 7 for 9 from the field and 4 for 5 from 3. Their point guard off the bench, Teo Maladon, would finish with 18 points in 31 minutes. He shot 7 for 16 from the field, 3 for 7 from 3, and he made his only free throw. On the winning end of this matchup, the Toronto Raptors were led in scoring by their starting power forward, Pascal Siakam. He finished with 27 points, 16 rebounds, and 5 assists in 40 minutes. He shot 13 for 17 from the field. Their starting shooting guard and all-star, Fred VanVleet, finished with 21 points, 6 assists, and 2 steals in 36 minutes. He shot 7 for 17 from the field, 6 for 14 from 3, and he made his only free throw of the day. The Raptors starting small forward out of Indiana, OG Anunoby, finished with 15 points and 10 rebounds in 37 minutes. He shot 6 for 12 from the field and 3 for 7 from 3. With this win, the Toronto Raptors are now 30-23. That is the 6th best record in the Eastern Conference. Their 7-game winning streak is the longest active winning streak in the Eastern Conference and the NBA for that matter, now that the Warriors have lost. The Raptors have won 8 of their last 10 games, and they sit 4 games behind the first seed Miami Heat out east. With this loss, the Oklahoma City Thunder are 17-37. That is the 2nd worst record in the Western Conference. They've lost their last 3 games, which is tied with the Houston Rockets for the longest active losing streak in the Western Conference. The Thunder have lost 7 of their last 10 games, and they sit 9 games behind the 8th seed LA Clippers out west. Taking a look at what went down in Salt Lake City, the Utah Jazz hosted the Golden State Warriors, and the Jazz ended the Warriors' 9-game winning streak as they beat the Warriors 111-85. The Jazz won this matchup by 26 after they outscored the Warriors by a combined 20 points in the second half. On the losing end of this matchup, the Golden State Warriors were led in scoring by their starting shooting guard, Jordan Poole. He finished with 18 points in 32 minutes. He shot 5 for 14 from the field, 3 for 8 from 3, and he made all 5 of his free throws. Their goated starting point guard, Stephen Curry, out of Davidson, the NBA's all-time leader in three-pointers made, finished with 16 points, 7 rebounds, and 2 assists. He shot 5 for 13 from the field, 3 for 8 from 3, and he shot 3 for 4 from the foul line. The Warriors' all-star starting small forward, Andrew Wiggins, finished with 13 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists, and 2 steals in 28 minutes. He shot 5 for 11 from the field, 2 for 5 from 3, and he made one of his 2 free throw attempts on the day. On the winning end of this matchup, the hometown Utah Jazz were led in scoring by their starting small forward, Bojan Bogdanovic. Bojan finished with 23 points and 6 rebounds in 31 minutes. He shot 7 for 16 from the field, 3 for 7 from 3, and a perfect 6 for 6 from the foul line. The Jazz elite starting shooting guard out of Louisville, Donovan Mitchell, finished with 14 points, 10 rebounds, and 8 assists in 33 minutes. He shot 5 for 14 from the field and 4 for 10 from 3. With this win, the Utah Jazz are now 34-21. That is the 4th best record in the West. They've won their last 4 games, and they've won 5 of their last 10. They sit 10.5 games behind the Phoenix Suns out west. And, of course, with this loss, the Golden State Warriors are now 41-14. They've only lost one of their last 10 games. This is coming off of their 9-game winning streak. Just to get a sense of where they sit, they are sitting 3.5 games behind the first seed Phoenix Suns out west, as the Jazz sit 10.5 games behind them. Taking a look at what went down in Portland, the Trailblazers hosted the Los Angeles Lakers. The Trailblazers would end up beating the Lakers 107-105. They won this matchup by 2 after outscoring the Lakers by 9 in the second half. On the losing end of this matchup, the Los Angeles Lakers were led in scoring by their goated starting small forward, LeBron James. He finished with 30 points, 7 rebounds, 7 assists, 3 steals, and 6 turnovers in 37 minutes. He shot 13 for 22 from the field, 3 for 7 from 3, and he made his only free throw. The Lakers' elite starting power forward, Anthony Davis, finished with 17 points, 7 rebounds, 6 assists, and 5 blocks in 41 minutes. He shot 8 for 11 from the field. And on the winning end of this matchup, the hometown Trailblazers were led in scoring by their starting shooting guard, Anthony Simons. He finished with 29 points and 5 assists. He did all of this in 38 minutes as he shot 11 for 23 from the field, 5 for 11 from 3, and he made both of his free throws on the night. With this win, the Portland Trailblazers are 22-34. That is the 5th worst record in the Western Conference. They've won 2 of their last 10 games. They sit 5 games behind the 8 seed LA Clippers out west. With this loss, the LA Lakers are 26-30. That is the ninth best record in the Western Conference. They've lost their last 2 games and they've lost 7 of their last 10. They sit a game behind the LA Clippers, who hold the 8th seed in the West. Last but not least, taking a look at what went down in Sacramento, the Kings hosted the Minnesota Timberwolves. The Kings beat the Timberwolves 132-119. They won this matchup by 13 after outscoring the Timberwolves by 15 in the fourth quarter. On the losing end of this matchup, the Timberwolves were led in scoring by their starting point guard, D'Angelo Russell. Russell finished with 29 points, 4 rebounds, and 10 assists, all in 36 minutes. He shot 10 for 20 from the field, 6 for 13 from 3, and 3 for 4 from the foul line. Their elite starting small forward, Anthony Edwards, finished with 26 points, all in 38 minutes. He shot 10 for 25 from the field, 3 for 9 from 3, and 3 for 4 from the foul line. The Timberwolves' elite starting center, Karl Anthony Towns, finished with 21 points, 7 rebounds, and 8 assists in 34 minutes. He shot 9 for 17 from the field, 1 for 4 from 3, and a perfect 2 for 2 from the foul line. On the winning end of this matchup, the hometown Sacramento Kings were led in scoring by their starting small forward, Harrison Barnes. He finished with 30 points, 8 rebounds, and 3 assists in 36 minutes. He shot 8 for 11 from the field, 4 for 5 from 3, and a perfect 10 for 10 from the foul line. Their starting point guard, De'Aaron Fox, finished with 27 points and 8 rebounds alongside 2 blocks in 36 minutes. He shot 10 for 20 from the field, 2 for 4 from 3, and a perfect 5 for 5 from the foul line. And the Kings' new starting power forward, Domantas Sabonis, finished with 22 points, 14 rebounds, and 5 assists in 33 minutes. He shot 10 for 19 from the field, and he shot 2 for 3 from the foul line. With this win, the Sacramento Kings are now 21-36. That is currently the 4th worst record in the Western Conference. They've won 3 of their last 10 games, as they currently sit 6.5 games behind the 8th seed LA Clippers out west. With this loss, the Minnesota Timberwolves are 29-26. That is the 7th best record in the Western Conference. They've lost 3 of their last 10 games, and they currently sit 15.5 games behind the first place Phoenix Suns out west. So, of course, that is what the NBA is looking like following yesterday's matchups. Taking a look at what's going on today in the NBA. Today is Thursday, meaning that the primetime games are going to be on TNT. The first primetime game is going to feature the Washington Wizards, who currently hold the 5th worst record in the Eastern Conference. They're going to host the 8th seed Brooklyn Nets, as the Nets are currently holding a 9-game losing streak, the longest losing streak in the NBA that's active right now. The second game that's going to be on prime time will be at 10 o'clock, as the Phoenix Suns, who hold the best record in the NBA, are going to host the defending champs Milwaukee Bucks in the Footprint Center in Phoenix. Like I said, the Suns are the only team that has officially clinched a winning record so far this season, as the Bucks are starting to surge their way to being the best team in the East, just to get a sense of how they're playing. Looking at the games that aren't going to be on prime time, the Detroit Pistons are going to host the Memphis Grizzlies in Little Caesars Arena. At 7:30, the New Orleans Pelicans are going to host the Miami Heat. At 8 o'clock, the Houston Rockets are going to host the Toronto Raptors. At 8:30, the Dallas Mavericks are going to host the LA Clippers. And then last but not least, at 10, the Golden State Warriors are going to host the New York Knicks. Taking a look at what's going on in the world of soccer, looking at yesterday's matchups, jumping from league to league, of course, starting off in the FIFA Club World Cup. In the 2 semifinal matchups, Monterrey out of South America was able to beat Al Jazeera 3-1 for this fifth place matchup, in order to, of course, take that place. And then, of course, looking at the first semifinal match between Al Hilal and Chelsea, Chelsea would end up beating Al Hilal in the semifinals 1-0. Their lone goal came from their elite Belgian striker Romelu Lukaku. And even though we're mentioning the English team, taking a look at what's going on in England in the Premier League, Manchester City was able to beat Brentford 2-0. Their first goal coming from Riyad Mahrez's penalty kick in the first, and their second goal coming from their elite Belgian midfielder Kevin De Bruyne. With this win, the Manchester City Football Club is now still sitting at the top of the Premier League. They sit 12 points ahead of second place Liverpool, even though they played 2 more games than Liverpool. Tottenham would host Southampton, and Southampton would get the best of Tottenham. Tottenham's second goal would come from Son Heung-min and would put them up, but then Southampton would score 2 goals in the 80th and 82nd minute to come from behind and win. Southampton now sits 10th in the Premier League table. Tottenham is now 7th, sitting tied with Arsenal, but Arsenal has the advantage on goal differential. And then not to mention the Italian Coppa Italia in this quarterfinal matchup, the AC Milan, who holds the second best record in Italy, was able to beat Lazio, who holds the sixth best record in Italy, as they advance to the semifinal round. AC Milan would see a brace from their French forward, Olivier Giroud, to finish the first half before they were up 3-0 at the half. And with this win, they are the second team alongside Inter to advance to the Italian Coppa Italia. Taking a look at what's going on today as we navigate through it, looking at two more Coppa Italia matchups. The other two, Juventus is going to face off against Sassuolo. Juventus enters this matchup with the fourth best record in Italy. Not to mention Atalanta versus Fiorentina. Atalanta sits fifth in the table, so you're going to see a couple of the top Italian teams play today. Taking a look at what's going on in the Premier League, Liverpool's going to host Leicester City. Liverpool holds the second best record in the Prem as they sit 12 points behind Man City with 2 less games played. And then Arsenal's going to go to Wolverhampton and face off against the Wolves. Arsenal currently sits 6th in the table. Wolves currently sit 8th. Taking a look at what's going on in the 2022 Beijing Olympics and the fifth day of giving out medals on February 9th, taking you event by event, starting off in the women's slalom and alpine skiing. The gold medal went to Petra Vlhova of Slovakia, as she like I said, she took over the gold. Silver would go to Austria, and then Switzerland would take the bronze. Taking a look at at the medals in freestyle skiing. In the men's free ski big air final run, the gold medal was given to Birk Ruud of Norway. America would take the silver, and then Sweden would take home the bronze. Looking at what happened in luge, the gold medal in doubles went to Tobias Arlt and Tobias Wendel of Germany, as of course a German team would take the silver medal as well. An Austrian team would end up taking the bronze. Now taking a look at what went down in the Nordic combined in the individual Gundersen Normal Hill / 10-kilometer cross-country event. The gold medal went to Vinzenz Geiger of Germany. Norway would take home the silver, and Austria would take home the bronze. In short track speed skating, the gold medal in the men's 1,500 meter went to Daehon Hwang of Korea. The silver medal went to Canada, and the bronze medal went to the Russian Olympic Committee. Taking a look at what went down in snowboarding in the women's snowboard cross big final, the gold medal was given to Lindsay Jacobellis of the United States. France would take home the silver, and then Canada would take home the bronze in this event. But of course, that is where we are as we are navigating each of these sports one by one, and then taking a look at who's sitting on top of the medal table right now. Right now, Norway and Germany have the most gold medals in this Winter Olympics. They both have 5 of them. Austria and Sweden they both have 4. The United States, Netherlands, and the People's Republic of China each have 3 gold medals amongst them. The country with the most silver medals at the moment is the U.S. The U.S. has 5 silver medals alongside France. Austria has 4 of them. And then, of course, the team that has the most bronze medals at the moment is the Russian Olympic Committee. And then, of course, looking at the countries that have the most medals in total. Right now, Norway and Austria sit at the top as both countries have 12 medals total. Russia is sitting third as they have 11 medals as a country. Canada sitting fourth as they have 10 of them, and the U.S. is sitting fifth in total medals as the U.S. currently has 9 of them. And that's everything I have for you for today, for Thursday, February 10th. And of course, once all of today's exhibitions and matchups are done, I'm going to come back tomorrow on Friday, February 11th. But until then, I want to thank everyone once again for listening to all 27, 28, 29 minutes of this piece. I also want to thank the NCAA, the NFL, NBA, FIFA, Olympics, and even the ESPN websites for giving me all the facts and figures. And of course, like I said, I want to thank everyone once again for listening. I do apologize if I got a lot of the names wrong. I do eventually plan on getting them right. And like I said, I want to thank everyone for following me through as we navigate through the world of sports one day at a time. And I can't wait to see what happens today so I can talk about it tomorrow. Thanks for listening. I'll catch you with another piece tomorrow. Peace out.